Welcome back to Cooking the Books. Today I have with me Marcy Dermansky. Is that how you say it? I forgot to check.
You said it just right, yeah.
Whew, okay.
We're off to a great start.
That's taken care of.
Yeah.
Said your name. The name of your book, Bad Marie.
Yeah.
It's not.
You pronounced that right too.
Good.
Yeah,
really nailing it. This is such a strange and interesting and creepy book.
It is a little creepy. Yeah.
It's a story of a nanny who kidnaps a little child.
Yeah, but it's a funny kidnapping, I think, because there's never a moment where Caitlin, who gets kidnapped, has a moment like, oh no, what's going on? Who am I with? She's never scared.
Yeah.
So it's not a typical kidnapping.
Now, Caitlin she's like 2 years old?
About two and a half.
Precocious 2.5-year-old. And one of the things that Marie and Caitlin do a lot together is eat. They both really like eating.
Yeah.
And they both really like eating sort of toddler food.
Which is
and
what
also, so do I. Who doesn't?
Right.
So tell us a little bit about what we're going to be cooking today.
We're going to be cooking macaroni and cheese. It's modern day, so we have to do everything is organic. This is even 5-grain elbows, which we're going to see how that tastes. I don't know.
Yeah, it might taste no, I don't know, it's cardboard box.
If there's enough butter and cheese, I think it'll still be good.
I'm with it.
Yeah. And we're also going to be making chocolate pudding, the instant kind.
I'm excited. I don't even remember the last time I got to eat that.
It's pretty fun.
It's like good stuff.
It's really, really good.
So Marie, the titular Bad Marie, she's had an unhappy and strange life. Tell us a little bit about just sort of the situation that we find ourselves in and as the book begins.
Yeah, when the book begins, she's just out of prison. For the camera, I spent 1 day in jail.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was a long time ago. It was when the Rodney King riots were, and I went to a protest march in San Francisco.
Oh, wow.
And they just took us all to jail, and what they did feed us were bologna sandwiches, and they were inedible, and I did not eat for like the day that I was in jail, and we went out for brunch the next day, and it was nice.
So Marie was in jail. She didn't get to do a lot of resume building things while she was there. And so kind of the only job that's available to her when she gets out is working for someone who's this childhood friend who's very successful and needs a nanny for her 2.5-year-old child, Caitlin.
She's kind of lucky. She shows up at her door and gets a job, so it all worked out. Yeah.
And then she has this really handsome French husband.
I was having fun with coincidences in this book. I mean, and like, it's preposterous what happens in a way. Marie reads a book when she was in prison by a French writer, and she goes and she finds her friend. Her friend's husband, of course, is that writer. And I think when you write things, you can do whatever you want, and so that's what I wanted to do.
It never seemed far-fetched.
Oh, that's so nice to hear. I mean, I think why not? Like, why can't something crazy happen, right?
Well, this is a criticism of all kinds of books that I never feel like I can get down with, because when people say something like, oh, that wouldn't happen, or he wouldn't have done that, or people don't act like that, people do all kinds of crazy stuff all the time.
Yeah. So good. I'm glad you didn't think it was fun, because I didn't think so. Like, I thought, why not? I thought this was completely believable.
You didn't have your daughter at the time that you wrote this, but then you wrote about this relationship between the toddler and Marie. So how did you do that?
I don't know. I think I just made it up, and like I used to babysit in college.
You're just making stuff up?
I'm just making stuff up. But I wrote the book first, and then I had a baby. Like I found out about the baby and selling the book in the same week, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was good. But one
You're
of
like,
I know, because I didn't know either would happen, honestly. But
oh, wow.
Yeah. And one thing I always get now is when I leave my baby with a babysitter, people always say, "Oh, are you worried about her getting kidnapped?" And it's a fine joke. I mean it myself.
Wait, but are you?
I'm not worried about my baby getting kidnapped.
So let's talk a little bit about what we're cooking and why.
Okay. Well, we're making macaroni and cheese and chocolate pudding because those are 2 of the favorite things that Caitlin and Marie in my book like to eat, that there's almost nothing better that you can have. And so it seemed like that's what we should share today.
You like barely need teeth to eat this stuff.
No, you really don't. You can just gum them.
Yeah. Sweet. We just took this off the heat, and it's still warm enough to kind of like melt the butter and make the powder into goo. So do you want to be in charge of like the proportions of stuff that we put in?
Yeah, I find one thing with macaroni and cheese is you don't really need to read the instructions. So maybe that doesn't seem like enough butter, so I'll put in some more butter.
Oh, definitely put in like as much butter as, you know, go to town.
We'll go to town, we'll put in the butter. We're just pouring in the milk. That seems about right. I like it to be really runny and milky. I don't know how you feel about your macaroni and cheese.
That sounds great.
All right. Do you want to do this honor?
Oh boy.
You have to cook with me.
It's like my little baggie of heroin that I'm gonna open now. Ooh. It's a cheese type substance. I think we're gonna set it aside and then make the chocolate pudding, and then we'll eat them. It's like a multi-course toddler meal. It smells actually really appetizing already. It's like a
I wonder if we're doing this right. Bring to full boil on medium heat, stirring constantly. All right, we're already messing it up. I'm stirring.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I think we're still good.
Nomadic moves across the lawn, step by step into the dawn, holding on tight.
So explain to us why we're accompanying our toddler meal with tumblers of Bushmills.
It's a good question. Because that is Marie's favorite drink in the book, is to drink whiskey. And in the first scene of the book, she passes out in the bathtub with a tumbler of whiskey, like on the edge of the tub. So it seemed like an appropriate drink.
And her employers are not crazy about this?
No, they're not. I mean, it's probably their whiskey too, for one thing. But yeah. No, I think that's an irresponsible way to like take care of a 2-year-old, is to drink whiskey and fall asleep in the bathtub. They're not crazy.
Well,
they might curse.
To bad Marie.
To bad Marie. Thank you. Cheers.
Thanks for bringing us the whiskey.
1 o'clock. It's good.
Yeah.
Afternoon drink. Yeah, I like it.
The sun is past whatever whatever people say. Anyway, let's take a bite of
try the
our
macaroni and
mac and cheese and see how we did with that. I'm really into it.
It's really good.
I think we nailed the proportions of them. You just have to add a ton of butter to it, and it becomes very tasty.
I think it actually came out perfect, and that was without measuring, you know. So we're talented, yeah.
Okay. I was just thinking of the scene where Marie's employer, after they find her in the bathtub, takes her out to dinner at a Vietnamese. It
is Vietnamese. Yeah.
And Marie gets to order delicious things, and she's like really looking forward to eating them.
Yeah.
And then it dawns on her that she's not going to actually be able to enjoy the delicious spring rolls.
Yeah, it's really upsetting to her too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're so with her at that moment. You're like, yeah, why can't she just enjoy the spring rolls? Why does this have to be a conversation about how you're going to get fired for neglecting someone's child?
I'm glad you were worried about her eating her food. That's like the first person who's brought that up. Yeah, because she was in prison for 6 years, and they really just didn't serve good food. I mean, and I think she did miss that. You know, there's certain problems with being in jail.
I mean, I haven't been in jail, and I feel like that all the time.
Yeah.
Something really terrible will happen, and I'll be like, oh, this means that I can't, like, have a steak.
Yeah, or when you eat a bad meal and you're like, wow, then this is a good meal that I don't get to eat. I feel really cheated sometimes when that happens.
I know, because how many times do you have in your life that you can eat a good meal?
Yeah, she does get to eat the food in that scene. I don't know if that's too big of a spoiler.
No, it's
so,
and it's very like satisfying. All of her experiences of eating are very satisfying.
And everything gets better when she gets to eat well. I think that's true to my experience too, in fact. So
totally, mine too. Well, I guess here let's take a bite of our pudding and make sure that it's like made out of pudding.
Instant pudding is not really instant. That's a lie on the box, I think.
Oh, really?
Well, it's not instant. You have to cool it. That's a good.
Oh, right. You can't just instantaneously eat a bunch of pudding.
No.
You could like shake the powder out into your mouth like pixie sticks. That would be instant.
It'll be nice warm though.
No, I don't know. I kind of like it warm.
I like it too. It's actually really good warm.
I feel so sort of like sedated and pacified by this meal.
I feel like
it
should be like raining and dark. You know, like when you go to a movie in a matinee in the day and then you step out and it's still light out and you feel like everything is strange and weird.
Yeah.
I think that's what's going to be like for me when I leave today. I'll have drank and
should just hopefully take a nap. And well, so we're going to put you to sleep. Gosh, Marcy, thank you so much for coming over to my house and cooking this food that's like a, fantasy that I had as a child.
You're welcome. You can still do this every day. You don't have to be a child.
All right. I'm glad we figured that out.
Good. I do life coaching too.
Oh, really?
No, I don't actually. I could use one. I've been thinking about that. I tell lies.
This is a good beginning to your life coaching career.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Okay. Well, Picking the Books. Signing off.
Signing off.
I am giving you